And then he just dropped dead on the stage. Yeah. What's that? No. So at the meeting between Donald and Cupcake, Donald showed some photos of some people in white hazmat-like suits burying dead bodies and said that it was of white South African farmers being buried. But those photos were actually taken in the Congo. So, what's that, Jitesh? Yeah, I mean, you would think that people would be able to tell the difference between two different countries. However, in 2025, there were a lot of people who believed that Africa was a country rather than a continent. What's that, Ntokozo? Yes, predominantly people in the US who believed that. What's that, Mpo? Well, we're not sure whether it was a lack of research done on the part of Donald's team or whether they were just so used to propaganda and not having to tell the truth and just saying whatever they wanted to say to control the narrative, because that's what the US had done since its inception, that they just figured they could get away with it again. And to a degree they did, because there were a lot of people who actually just believed those pictures and that propaganda. What's that, Mark? Yes, they were muchus. I mean, you have to be to just believe propaganda like that, especially with the access to information and knowledge that they had at the time with the internet. It wasn't hard to find the truth. I mean, why are the people who know fuck all the ones who are yelling the loudest about how stupid they are? Is likely more a psychology than a history question, but I'll do my best to answer it for you, okay? So what happens is, in order to stay in a place of hate, you have to stay uneducated, right? In order to stay in a place of hating another group, racism, bigotry, whatever, you have to stay with very little knowledge in your head. Because if you have actual truth and knowledge in your head about it and about them as human beings, you can't stay hating them. And if people who have this hatred actually learn the truth, then they would have to take a look at themselves internally and how they have been treating these people their whole life. They would have to bring themselves to account and be responsible for how they treated these people. They would have to humble themselves and apologize, and they would have to try to make amends to these people if they actually admitted what they had been doing. And that level of emotional maturity is too painful for them, right? They just want things to be comfortable for them. They don't want to feel uncomfortable or do any heavy lifting emotionally or mentally. So they want to stay in their ignorance. And in order to do that, they have to not listen to people telling them the truth. And so one of the ways that they found to not listen to people was just to yell louder. Because if you're yelling over everybody and you're yelling the loudest about all the things that you don't know, then there's no space there for the truth to come in and for you to actually listen, because you're just so busy, your mouth's busy going, so your ears aren't working. Yeah, I mean, fucking pooples is not incorrect, as usual.